Hello friends, welcome to this week's edition of the I Watch Horror podcast. As always, I am your host Matt, and I cannot wait to jump into this week's show. We have news on the next Final Destination film and a potential return of a fan favorite to the Scream franchise. We'll go through upcoming releases and we'll end with my top 5 favorite horror subgenres. Let's get to it. Let's start off with some exciting news. It's been officially confirmed that Warner Bros. And New Line Cinema are moving forward with Final Destination 7. The announcement comes on the heels of the successful release of the latest installment, Final Destination Bloodlines, which was released in May 2025. Laurie Evans Taylor, who co-wrote the screenplay for Bloodlines, has been tapped to write the script for the new film. Franchise veterans Craig Perry and Sheila Hanahan Taylor will return as producers, alongside John Watts, Diane McGonigal, and Toby Emmerich, with Warren Zeid serving as executive producer. The plot details for Final Destination 7 are being kept under wraps, but the new film is expected to feature a fresh cast of characters who must once again try to outwit death. The film is estimated to be released in mid to late 2027. In the world of independent film, box office success is never a given. It's often a tightrope walk of high concept risks and smaller budgets, and that brings us to the new movie Together starring Alison Brie and Dave Franco. The film just debuted at number 6 at the box office in its opening weekend, pulling in an estimated $6.8 million. When you factor in its midweek earnings, the domestic total is sitting at a healthy $10.8 million. This is a really important number for the studio Neon. They've been on a bit of a hot streak lately with their horror releases. Last year they had a huge hit with Longlegs, which became a sort of indie horror sensation, and earlier this year they saw success with their adaptation of Stephen King's The Monkey. But they shelled out a reported $17 million to acquire Together out of Sundance, so it's a big gamble. The film needs to perform well to keep that momentum going, especially in this competitive late summer window. We'll have to see if it can hold its own against the bigger studio heavyweights. Spoilers ahead for the first Scream film. If you've not seen the nearly 3-decade-old movie, you've been warned. We are finally getting an answer to a question that has haunted Scream fans for decades. Is Stu Macher really dead? After years of fan theories, speculation, and wishful thinking, it looks like Matthew Lillard is officially back for Scream 7. For those who need a refresher, Stu was one of the original Ghostface killers in the first movie, alongside Billy Loomis. While Billy had a clear motive, Stu's chaotic energy and his infamous line about peer pressure made him a fan favorite. His death, having a television dropped on his head, was always a little ambiguous in the world of horror movies, and now it seems the franchise is ready to bring him back in some form, either through a flashback, hallucination, or perhaps proving he survived all along. The return of this character is a powerful move for the series. Not only does it capitalize on the immense love for the original movie and its characters, but it also brings back a level of unpredictable pure mayhem that hasn't been fully replicated. Stu was always a force of nature, and his return promises to elevate the stakes and add a fascinating new layer to the ongoing Ghostface legacy. We touched on this last week, and now it seems the picture is becoming a little bit more clear. After Legendary Pictures' rights to the franchise lapsed, the rights to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre are now back on the open market, and it's brought a bidding war to Hollywood. The company that holds the rights, Exerbia Films, has brought in the talent agency Verb to help them find a new home. While there was initially a wide range of interested parties from Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw Productions to Taylor Sheridan, it appears the field has narrowed. The two primary contenders now are Sony and A24. Sony's bid is straightforward. They want to buy the rights outright. It's a clean acquisition that would give them full control over the franchise. A24, on the other hand, is offering a creative partnership. Their proposal is a package deal that includes producer Roy Lee, JT Mulder, and actor Glenn Powell in a producing role, not a starring one. A key factor in all of this is the rights holders at Exerbia Films. They're reportedly seeking $3 million for the new deal, but their real interest may be in a limited partnership that would allow them to maintain some creative control. Sony's bid to simply purchase the rights could complicate that, while A24's collaborative approach might be more appealing. A familiar face is returning to the world of vampire slaying. Sarah Michelle Gellar, the original Buffy Summers, is stepping back into the Buffyverse, but this time in a different capacity. The upcoming revival of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is being billed as the next chapter, and Gellar is not only reprising her role but also serving as an executive producer. The series is set to introduce a new chosen one, played by Ryan Kiera Armstrong. In a recent social media post, Gellar shared a video of the two of them in what looks like a rigorous training session, hinting at the new dynamic we can expect. It seems Gellar's Buffy will be a mentor figure, a role that will be familiar to fans of the original show's lore. Another big name attached to the project is Academy Award-winning director Chloe Gao, who will direct the pilot episode. This new creative team led by Gellar and Gao seems poised to bring a fresh perspective to a beloved story. John Carpenter's return to the world of Halloween was a major event in horror cinema. For the last several years, alongside collaborators Cody Carpenter and Daniel Davies, he's been meticulously crafting a new soundscape for the franchise. And now, all of that work is being brought together in one definitive collection. Sacred Bones Records is releasing a 6 LP vinyl box set called Halloween: The Complete Expanded Collection. This isn't just a repackaging though. It's an expanded edition of the scores for the entire reboot trilogy: Halloween, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. Each film's score is getting a full-blown treatment complete with brand new artwork, extensive liner notes, and collectible posters. The set will be available in 2 color variants, appropriately named Dried Blood and Toxic Pumpkin. For those who might want to pick and choose, the individual expanded soundtracks will also be available for purchase. The entire collection arrives just in time for spooky season, with a release date set for October 3rd. The A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is finally getting a proper 4K box set. This will be a 7-film collection that includes everything from Wes Craven's seminal 1984 original all the way to Wes Craven's New Nightmare in 1994. This set features new material with Robert Englund, the man himself, and 2 new features, Boiler Room Confessional and Freddy's Footnotes. The first is an interview where Englund discusses his journey as the character, from his inspiration to his rise as an icon. The second, Freddy's Footnotes, has Englund and the original filmmakers revisiting some of the franchise's most memorable moments. And for those who remember the original theatrical run of Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, this set also has the alternate ending of the film in 3D. And yes, it comes with a pair of glasses for that full nostalgic experience. The collection is available for pre-order and is scheduled to be released on September 30th. In related news, for those who want to see these 4K versions in theaters, Alamo Drafthouse is bringing a 4K remaster marathon of the entire A Nightmare on Elm Street series to theaters. This is your chance to see all 7 films from the 1984 classic to Wes Craven's New Nightmare on the big screen with a stunning new restoration. The marathon kicks off with the first film on August 29th, with the subsequent films rolling out throughout September. You can purchase tickets for individual films or, for the truly dedicated, a pass for the whole series. This is a real chance to re-experience these movies and is the perfect way to get ready for the 4K box set release at the end of September. Lionsgate just dropped the first trailer for a new horror film titled Do Not Enter. The project has been in the works for a while under its original title, Creepers, and is an adaptation of the Stoker Award-winning novel by David Morrell. The film follows a group of urban explorers, or creepers as they're known, who infiltrate the infamous Paragon Hotel, a massive abandoned complex on the New Jersey coast with a violent past. The goal is to livestream their exploits, but they quickly discover they're not alone. The trailer hints at a chilling blend of found footage and traditional filmmaking, suggesting we'll be seeing the action from multiple perspectives. The film is directed by Mark Clansfield, an industry veteran with a long history of directing music videos for artists like Jay-Z and Britney Spears. Do Not Enter also features some familiar faces for genre fans, including Adeline Rudolph from The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and the always terrifying Javier Botet, who we've seen in films like Alien Covenant and The Conjuring. Botet will again be portraying a creature in this film, an entity called the Pale Creature, which adds an interesting wrinkle to the story. While the main story of Stranger Things is coming to a close, it's clear Netflix isn't ready to leave the Upside Down behind. A spin-off has been in the works for a while, but details have been scarce, that is until now. It turns out one of the show's own stars, Finn Wolfhard, who plays Mike Wheeler, has some insight into what's coming next. And according to him, it sounds like the Duffer Brothers are looking to take the franchise in a new and perhaps more surreal direction. Wolfhard recently described the project as having a vibe similar to David Lynch's cult classic Twin Peaks. The idea, from what Wolfhard has gathered, is that the spin-off would be an anthology. It would tell different stories with different tones, all connected by the overarching mythology of the Upside Down. Instead of focusing on Hawkins, it would explore other places, other labs, where the veil between the worlds has thinned. It's a bold move, moving away from what made the original show so popular. But if the Duffers' goal is to surprise people and to keep the story of the Upside Down feeling fresh and unsettling, then an anthology series in the style of Twin Peaks might be the perfect and most horrifying way to do it. 50 years. Think about that for a moment. 5 decades. It's a run that few films have, let alone one that began as a low-budget British musical. But here we are, celebrating a half-century of the film that turned audience participation into a global phenomenon, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The enduring legacy of this film is truly remarkable, and now we're seeing it honored in a major way. A special Rocky Horror Picture Show spectacular tour is underway, bringing some of the original cast members back together. Barry Bostwick, Nell Campbell, and Patricia Quinn are all on the road for a screening of the film, complete with a live shadow cast and, of course, the kind of audience participation that made this a cultural touchstone. The tour is hitting dozens of cities across the US and Canada, giving a new generation of fans a chance to experience the magic. But the celebration isn't just a touring show, the film itself is getting a much-deserved restoration. A new 4K version has been meticulously prepared and it's being screened in select theaters, including a special debut event at the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures in Los Angeles. This new version will also be available for home viewing on a special edition 4K Blu-ray. And for collectors and superfans, there's more. The original movie soundtrack is being reissued on a very special edition vinyl. We're talking 180-gram dual-colored vinyl, all packaged in a gold foil jacket with previously unreleased photos and even handwritten diary excerpts from the recording sessions. And in a nod to the film's massive merchandise appeal, new collaborations are coming with Funko, Loungefly, and Rock Love Jewelry. The legacy of Rocky Horror continues to grow as it embraces a new era while still honoring the midnight movie faithful who kept it alive for all these years. With all the talk about FX's new show Alien Earth, it's easy to forget there's more to it than just the episodes themselves. The original series, which is set just a few years before Ridley Scott's original film, has a global promotional campaign that's putting the terror in very close proximity to fans. This campaign, called The Hunt, is being rolled out in 14 cities across the world from New York to London and Tokyo. It's essentially an immersive experience, a sort of pop-up event where massive containment units are being placed in public spaces. These crates hold what appear to be alien specimens, including the iconic xenomorph, and people are encouraged to get a look inside. The activation also offers prizes to those brave enough to approach the units. It's a creative way to bring the horror out of the theaters and into the streets, and it's a testament to the show's confidence that it can deliver the kind of visceral dread the original franchise is known for. Alien Earth premieres on August 12th on FX and Hulu. And finally, in other news from the streaming world, it seems Disney has decided to part ways with the latest Goosebumps series. After 2 seasons, the R.L. Stine adaptation has been cancelled. The numbers look pretty solid, 75 million hours viewed in the US, and an additional 43 million internationally. So it's not a lack of interest that seems to be the culprit. Sony Pictures Television, the studio behind it, is reportedly planning to shop it around to other outlets. They're also apparently looking at a few different creative directions for the IP. So while it's no longer on Disney+, the monsters and mysteries of Goosebumps might still have a chance to scare up a home somewhere else. That's all for the news this week. Links to all of my sources will be included in the show notes. We have a few movies being released in theaters this week. First up, on August 15th, is Witchboard, and the synopsis reads: in New Orleans, Emily and her fiancé Christian are opening their new dream cafe. But their dreams are dashed when Emily finds an ancient, cursed witchboard, an ancient artifact that once served as a gateway to the spirit world. As Emily becomes increasingly captivated by the board's ability to summon spirits, Christian seeks the expertise of Alexander Baptiste, an enigmatic occult scholar. As Emily's grip on reality weakens, Baptiste's true intentions come to light, to use the witchboard's dark power for his own twisted purposes. Culminating in a decadent masked ball at Baptiste's mansion, the line between temptation and terror blurs as Emily and Christian find themselves trapped in a deadly web of witchcraft and dark desires. Emily and Christian must race against time to break the board's curse before they succumb to its deadly power. Witchboard stars Madison Eisman, Aaron Dominguez, and Mel Jarnson. Next up, Jimmy and Stiggs. The synopsis reads, a perfect storm of lousy news sees out-of-work filmmaker Jimmy Lang spiral into a bender, during which he claims to have been abducted by aliens. And fearing their return, he contacts his old friend Stiggs to help him gear up for war. Jimmy and Stiggs stars Joe Begos, Matt Mercer, and Riley Dandy. Went up the hill. And the synopsis reads, in this chilling ghost story, a recently deceased woman haunts her estranged son Jack and her grieving widow Jill. When the woman's spirit inhabits the survivors, the living must grapple with the destruction she left behind while fighting for their own survival. Went Up the Hill stars Dacre Montgomery, Vicky Krieps, and Joe Tobeck. We have a few video-on-demand releases this week. First up is Diced Reloaded. The synopsis reads, Seattle, Halloween night, 1986. Benny, an infamous serial killer long thought contained, breaks free from a high-security asylum, reborn behind a twisted scarecrow mask. As he leaves a trail of carnage across the suburbs, whispers of his gruesome past resurfaces, fueling panic in a city soaked in neon and fear. But Benny isn't just killing for pleasure, he's hunting someone. A young woman unknowingly tied to the darkest chapter of his madness becomes his fixation, and the closer he gets, the bloodier it gets. Dice Reloaded delivers a brutal slasher soaked in 1980s nostalgia, where Benny carves his place in horror history, one body at a time. Dice Reloaded stars Eden Campbell, Jason Brooks, and Joe Magidson. No Tears in Hell, and the synopsis reads, in Alaska's winter darkness, a mother and son transform their house into a nightmare, drawing people in for abuse and cannibalism. No Tears in Hell stars Luke Bynes, Gwen Van Dam, and Tatiana Marakovich. Fear Cabin, the last weekend of summer. The synopsis reads, 6 friends rent a cabin in the middle of the woods on the last weekend of summer and set out to have an amazing time full of partying and drinking. Little do they know they will be sharing this cabin with an unexpected guest. Will they make it out alive? Fear Cabin, the last weekend of summer stars Jennifer Barlow, Parker Denning, and Jeff Holcomb. And finally we have The Ruse. The synopsis reads, an in-home caregiver fears for her life after being assigned to a mysterious elderly patient in a remote seaside home. The Ruse stars Veronica Cartwright, Michael Steger, and Drew Mullerlin. There are tons and tons of horror subgenres. You've got folk horror, you've got gothic horror, cosmic horror, found footage. The list goes on and on. Here are my personal top 5 favorite horror subgenres. At number 5, we have body horror. The Substance is a perfect example of body horror done right. It's such a good film. Videodrome from the 80s is another personal favorite. I've not seen Together yet, but I bet I will love it. Number 4, we have paranormal horror. The Haunting on Hill House is probably my favorite horror TV show in recent memory. Anything Mike Flanagan touches is pretty much gold. The Conjuring films, Poltergeist, the Amityville Horror. I've always been down for a good supernatural scare. Number 3, zombies. I will admit that there was a time I was a little burnt out on zombies, but that time has passed. I think the Last of Us series rekindled my love for zombies, honestly. Dawn of the Dead, The Crazies, even comedy zombie films like The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse get 2 thumbs up for me. Number 2, vampires. I love a good vampire film. Anything from Nosferatu to action-oriented stuff like Blade, Fright Night, 30 Days of Night, The Lost Boys, Let the Right One In, Interview with a Vampire. If it has fangs, there's a good chance I will like it. Number 1, slashers. If you've been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, this shouldn't be a surprise. My top 2 favorite horror films are Halloween and Scream. I also have a slight obsession with late 90s, early 2000s slashers like Urban Legend and Valentine. More recent films like Happy Death Day and Thanksgiving are fantastic. I love slasher films. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm honored that you would choose to spend a few minutes with me today. We have new shirts at the iWatch Horror shop, so be sure to check that out at shop.iwatchhorror.com. We are on Instagram, X, and Threads. The handle for all three of those is I_watch_horror. We are also on YouTube. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Until next time, take care.